All right. I am live on YouTube. All right. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It has been quite a bit since I've last been on the channel here in a little while. Um, Honestly, guys, I was kind of figuring, first of all, hello, everybody. To everyone who either watches this on YouTube, if StreamYard even puts this up, or to anyone who joins on while the stream's going or anything like that, regardless of which one it is. It's the boss, Sir Ryan here. Just wanted to get on here and say hello to you guys here in a live stream fashion. YouTube still does not allow for live streaming on there, so have to make use of StreamYard. But to be honest, StreamYard works just as well anyway, so it doesn't really matter one way or the other. Just wanted to get on here and say hey to you guys here for a little bit at the very least. Kind of give you guys a 2022 update or reflection from myself, not just on YouTube, but the year in general. Let you guys know what I've been up to and kind of what I'm thinking about for the future and whatnot, that kind of thing. So just chat here a little bit at the very least. So to update you guys, I have not been on the channel much this year whatsoever. This has been an incredibly long and stressful year in many ways for me personally. I mean, as you guys know from what I've talked about, last year in 2021, I graduated from college with my bachelor's degree. And throughout most of this year thus far, I have been part of an internship uh, through my university where I'm aiming to be a teacher. Sorry if I sound a little weird, by the way. Currently, really bad allergies. Where I live, the weather changes constantly. So during the winter season, it could be 80 degrees out and sunny, or negative 100 degrees out and completely cold. So, but yeah, allergies racked it up. But yeah, this year there's been a lot of stuff going on. I've been going through my program and whatnot, that kind of thing. Currently through the first part of the program, I finished up my first internship. I was up there at a middle school for a while. Really good experience. Loved the students. Worked with some really fantastic people up there. And all in all, the experience went well. I definitely have started to learn a lot more about how to become a teacher and how the academic field is in general. So, but it's definitely been good. But that's what I've been going through as far as my master's program has gone, or MAT if you prefer that. No, it's been going well so far. I have to admit it's been going pretty good. Currently on a 2 month. I wouldn't call it a break per se, because I still have some other school stuff going on and whatnot here. Obviously, I have some of the classes and a few other things going down, but in general, it's not too bad actually. But it's definitely been going well thus far. It's definitely stressful in that regard as well. For any of you guys who either come on the stream or chat about it or watch this on YouTube if it goes up there, you guys may be able to relate to this regardless about when you're in a graduate level program or you're doing anything that's heavily intensive, there is a lot of stuff factored into it that I will promise you, especially when it comes to doing an internship of any sort that I have personally discovered. There are a lot of factors involved with it, especially when you're in teaching. You have to plan out lessons, you have to create physical assignments, you have to grade a bunch of projects and assignments that you give your students. You have to, obviously, with that, since you're at a university, you have a lot of paperwork and whatnot to fill out. I know, at least for mine, I had a lot of stuff that I had to do, a lot of people to meet with, that kind of thing. There's definitely a lot of, especially when you're at a public school and at a university at the same time, when you're involved with both, there's a lot of communication, a lot of people you have to talk to, and there is a ton of planning that you have to go into it as well, especially when you're teaching for a few months. Mine was for over 30 days. So I was on there for quite a while, actually, having to do all of that stuff. But all in all, though, I loved the experience. I got to experience a lot of fantastic things, not just like field trips or other events and whatnot, but it was just fantastic being in the role of a teacher. And it was a lot of fun, actually. I very much enjoyed the experience at the time. As far as that went, I have another one coming up, and that's going to be my longest one. The only way I can really describe the workload right now is if you take everything I did internship one and then basically double it. So instead of coming up with like one unit, for example, you come up with two. and all the paperwork that you can imagine you had to do and fill out online for it, there's a secondary version of that. So there's two different things. So it's basically doubled at that particular point. But yeah, so I've been in the middle of doing all of that stuff, and it's stressful and it's a lot of work. For anyone who's either gone through or will do it, let me impart some advice to you. Be prepared. Be prepared as possible, especially if you're going through a college program, because this is something that you're going to be doing for your career. This is when you're done with it, you're going out into the world, you're going to start your career, start your own life path, and all this other stuff. So be prepared for it best you can. Don't stress out about it. Take the time that you need for yourself here and there to keep your mental health in check, but never forget that you're constantly going to be having to do stuff. So keep your head on your shoulders, keep a good mentality and mindset. Don't slack off in any regard. Prepare your materials ahead of time. Do your assignments that you have to do for school or anything else, and regardless of what internship that you're doing, be prepared. Whatever requirements that you have to meet, turn it in on the due dates. Make sure that you know exactly what you're doing beforehand, because you're going to have a lot of stuff, I'm sure, to navigate. My whole point of this is be prepared, keep a good mindset on you, and stay focused on that, because once you're through that program, you're set. You have what you need. So it's a bit of wisdom and advice from DaBoss here, because it's something that I've had to start to learn myself in that regard. So there's a lot of that stuff in there too. And that's essentially what I've been doing. My thing will be over probably by next May. I think is at this point, that's when it's going to be over with at that point. I imagine this stream's going to end up being more of a vlog than anything, but hopefully you guys will be able to still take something out of it regardless. Obviously, with doing all of my school stuff as of late and whatnot, it has been, again, stressful at a lot of points, but it's totally worth it, because it's been a fantastic experience despite anything else. I will say that much. That being said, though, with the YouTube side of things, as you guys may be able to better relate to as well, it has been pretty much dead quiet, with the exception of very few videos that I've done here and there. On DaBoss or the Nostalgia Factor, there have been probably 0 videos, practically. There's only been a few here and there on both of those channels, and it's been to a combination of things. Obviously, most notably college and preparation for life circumstances and all that stuff when it comes to the actual rate of videos coming out and whatnot. But I do have content and whatnot in the works. I actually just filmed something earlier this evening when I'm doing the stream anyway. So I have that in mind as well. But content I am planning on trying to do here and there. I'm probably going to have to find a different editing software, actually, because the other one that I've used, Movavi, it has a reputation now of not really working. So that's fun. But yeah, in general, though, guys, that's how it basically has been. I've been incredibly busy, and it has led to a lack of content. And it's something that I had always wondered years back, because it's not just with YouTube. I do a podcast here and there I've done with Emilio, my friend from Smelly Cheese, that YouTube channel. I've still been involved with content creation to a degree, but even the podcast, because of both my schedule and Emilio's schedule, for example, on Trash Talk, we've done a good amount of episodes this year. We're even planning on doing a collaboration next week at the time of this recording. But in general, though, it's just been a very different affair in terms of that, because there still hasn't been a ton of content going out regardless. And it's, again, been because of college for the most part, because this is, for myself at least, this has been a huge turning point in my life. The first several years of college, after a lot of personal things that I went through early on in my life that weren't very fun whatsoever, I finally started to become my own person. And through going to college and whatnot for around 4 years, when I graduated last year, I began to assemble who I am as a person, like who I want to be, who I am now, who I've been doing YouTube, just in general. And this program, though, has definitely pushed the boundaries, I think, more of who I am as a person, because this is preparation for my career. And this year as a whole, because admittedly, it hasn't just been school. in terms of like the lack of content, if I'm being honest, or the lack of a drive to want to do content. It's been This year for me has been very rough in quite a few regards, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. Everyone goes through major times in their lives where they suffer things like depression, or they suffer from things like anxiety, or they deal with any kind of mental disorder, or quite frankly anything mentally speaking. And it's horrible, honestly. My voice goes out to every single person who has to deal with that, which is most people, including myself. And that's what's contributed this year as well to not really wanting to produce content either. I can't just say it's school or college either, because absolutely this is a major time of my life. This is going to be the last major school thing I do before I start to pursue a career for myself. So it's scary and intimidating with that at the same time, but it's also very exciting, because I know that I'm doing what I love, and I'm proud of everything I've accomplished with my friends, my family, even the YouTube side of things, of everything that I've done over the years. But this year has definitely impacted me, and I hope to impart some advice to you guys as well, excuse me, on the front of dealing with like mental health and whatnot, which isn't anything new. I've advocated for that over the years here on YouTube. I've made a number of videos about it, and I've talked about it probably in like a million other online projects I've been part of. As I've talked about in videos and whatnot, I've been through quite a few things in my life. Uh, Quite a few things that I've experienced from members of my family, or parts, or one half of my family, rather. A lot of things that I've been through over the years that have, you could say, scarred me in many ways. Um, Definitely with a lot of mental things that I've been through in my life, we'll say. Um, Definitely a lot of things that I wouldn't wish on anybody either in that regard. And even though that was years ago, and I have recovered in a lot of ways since then, because I've become a person who I'm very proud of with my friends and my family, my career, and everything else. But I mentioned, in a way, a lot of the emotional and depressing things that I've been through for most of my early life, because a lot of that stuff does come back. And this year, some of it has. And I'm the type of person, I'm not going to get into like, not just details or anything like that, but just I'm no expert. I'm not a psychologist. I I understand myself, and I get how it is to experience like dealing with mental health in many ways, from my own personal experiences and everything else, as well as like just conditions that you have in general that you can't control, it feels like at times. But maybe if I share some thoughts and stuff of my own, maybe for those of you guys who ever end up seeing this or watching this, if again that ends up being posted, maybe I can help some of you guys out there too, to kind of do this, I guess, in a vlog setting, I guess, at this point. But um, it's been rough this year for that. It has affected content, because I've been dealing with a lot of things that I've dealt with in the past. Because when you bury so many of those emotions or traumatic times and you never properly process or deal with them, it's a pain. It really is. It's a struggle, and you feel like you're drowning. The sensation for me, at least, is when you fixate on a topic or something like that, or you end up experiencing something really unpleasant in your life and you just never end up dealing with it. When it comes back, especially if you have a certain mentality, it becomes the center of your universe. You can't stop thinking about it. You relate it to pretty much everything in life. It is the most mundane, stupid thing possible that you can't possibly explain. Like, you go through a traumatic experience in another country or something like that on like a yellow taxi cab, but and you never really deal with that emotion. And then years later, whenever you're in New York City and you're hailing a cab in the middle of Manhattan or something like that, and you see a yellow taxi cab, you immediately start freaking out and everything, because yeah, it's a yellow taxi cab. It's been years since then. You've dealt with it in a way and processed it. But when that experience comes back, every time you see a yellow taxi cab, you relay that emotion and feeling and memories to that yellow taxi cab, even though it has nothing to do with the incident. It's a stupid example and scenario, I know. It's completely random, but that's basically what the sensation is. You relate your own experiences, even though it makes no sense, to just random objects or places or whatever. And your brain thinks of the worst case scenario possible. And it's something that it feels, again, it's like that drowning sensation. In your head, you know it's completely garbage. You know that everything else that you're doing, the life that you're living, is completely separate from people, places, things, whatever it is, wherever the source comes from for any of you. You know that it's not real. You know it's not true. You know it's not something that's part of your life, not something you want part of your life, or anything like that. And if you have certain, like, say OCD, for example, and you fixate on something, it makes it that much harder. You know the truth of the matter, but it's so hard to stop. And that's something that I've personally dealt with on a number of subjects. Even though I know the things that has happened to me are completely past and they're not things that I would truly hate, for example, like that, or incidents or people that you don't hold responsible for anything like that, or you just don't generally care about in general. When you deal with it, again, it feels like you're drowning. It feels like it's impossible. You get distracted by it. You try and immerse yourself in it, play a game, or try and do everyday activities, and that constant thought, the images in your head, or whatever that may be, ends up becoming your main fixation, and it distracts you because your brain cycles through so many different images and information that it gets your heart racing, it gets you distracted, it gets you completely nervous, and you shut down. Your emotions are high, you get depressed, you're anxious, and you can't focus on anything. You can't clear your head or shut your brain down, so to speak. And that is one of the worst feelings in the world. And that's something that I have personally dealt with, especially in years past, and especially this year. This year has been one of probably the hardest struggles for me in that department. It's not the first time by any means, but I've dealt with it on and off myself personally. And again, I'm not afraid to share that either, because I'm hoping that by hearing somebody completely outside of, say, your guy's situation, maybe talk about it in that regard, maybe it will help in some regard, because I know it does me, but the worst part about any situation like that is no matter the topic never truly matters. At least for me, it doesn't. Because the human mind is such an oddball thing in that regard, where you know the truth of a matter, you know, it's like, okay, this doesn't make any sense. It's completely wrong. It doesn't matter. And you'd be correct in thinking that. But the more emphasis that you put into it, I find as well, the worse it gets. And for me, every time I try and justify whatever it is you obsess over or whatever it is you're completely hung up on as a topic, the more you investigate that, the further into a hole you dig yourself, mentally speaking, because there isn't a cure all solution. A lot of the things that I have done that with, for that type of fixation or mentality, has been things that have been sensitive to me personally, for one reason or the other. But they're all things that don't matter. I eventually just came to accept as they were, or I dealt with them in my own way, and that kind of helped. Or admittedly, a fixation on one thing kind of, you end it off because you end up fixating on something else completely, and then you look back on your previous obsession, you're like, well, that was stupid, because you're obsessed over something else and creating a whole new mental cycle and thought and behavior pattern that feels like completely takes over your life. And it's a struggle, honestly. And again, for anyone who deals with that, similar to myself, or quite frankly anybody else, it is incredibly painful. It really is. Especially, it feels like you can't stop, you can't shut it off. But you have to remember it's part of who you are too. It's the emotions behind it. And the only real way to deal with it isn't so much confronting, at least for me, it's not really so much about confronting the past in that regard, or confronting whatever is going on up here. It's yourself, ultimately. That's the real meat and potatoes of the entire thing. It's you. It's not the subject matter. It never is. It's never anything else. Because for me, I've been out of certain situations for a long time now. I haven't seen certain people in years. I haven't made contact with many different people and things for a long time. And I have no intention of. And even then, there's no one or anything I hate or anything like that. It's just like a whatever thing. And it's like, okay, you're there, whatever. But when you deal with mental health, all of that, the logic goes out the window. The best advice that I could give for anyone who goes through things like that, concerning mental health or dealing with certain topics like that, is first of all, seek help if it gets that bad where you don't have a good network system set up of family and friends to console in or yourself, go and seek professional help if you can. That would be my first and foremost advice, because I don't want to see any of you guys out there suffer from that or continue to have your lives ruined over things that, in all honesty, you can't completely control. You know, so go and seek help if possible. I would honestly recommend that. But in general, though, if you don't do that, and you, outside of talking with friends and family about it and getting their advice and whatnot, you have to take a stand for yourself. Thoughts are thoughts. It's not the thoughts, it's the emotion behind them or their meaning to you. That is honestly what it is. And yeah, if you suffer from certain mental conditions like OCD, for example, or something along those lines, or depression, anxiety, no, you can't always control that. And it's not something to be hopeless about. It's something that you learn to grow with and get better with. That is the big thing when it comes to dealing with anything mental health, especially related to conditions. Sometimes you can't just shut it off, and sometimes you can't. But don't look and try and find a resolution because there isn't one, because there's no apparent problem with it. The problem with it is how you're viewing it and the emotion you're putting behind it. That's why it's constantly playing on repeat over and over again. That's the reason why, because of the emphasis that you're giving it in your life and your mentality, the emotion. If you're able to make peace within yourself and accept it for what it is, and you just stop caring about it, you just stop, bottom line. Because you can look into it as much as you want, but if you take a step back, accept it for what it is, realize this is completely garbage, and you stop and you make an active effort to do that, even if you got yourself put in a pattern, if you actively do that and work to change, you can. Because not only just for myself, but for all of you guys out there, I want all of us to live fantastic and successful lives. Because mental health sucks, especially to deal with, and with conditions or people or anything else from that matter. Don't let anything hold you back. There are a lot of things in this world that aren't worth it. There are a lot of people that you've dealt with or things or anything else. There's a reason why you feel the way you do. Never let anyone or anything hold you back from what you want to do in life. Learn that it's just thoughts. It's simply the emotion. Leave it in the past where it belongs. Accept what you have as part of you and learn to better deal with it to make yourself a stronger person. That's the best advice I could give. Because it's something that I've dealt with and will continue to deal with personally. But it doesn't change who I am, because I'm incredibly proud of the man I've become personally. And this is the kind of attitude I hope that all of you guys out there who may end up watching this, that go through similar battles with mental health, because we all do. Every single person out there has some kind of issue. But for those of us who constantly have to battle that, or people in general, I want you guys to, again, lead the best lives possible. And I want you guys to be positive and good to yourselves in that process, because for me, I am incredibly proud of who I am. Honest to goodness, I am. I have a wonderful family, wonderful friends. I have amazing passions and hobbies in life. I'm leading a successful academic career. I have led a successful academic career, more than what I ever thought possible. I never thought I would actually go to college, but I did. I'm able to drive. I have a good job, coworkers who I like a lot. I have passions and hobbies, like, yeah, playing video games, stuff like that. I'm incredibly proud and happy that I have the opportunity to do that and be able to live my life the way I want, and a bright future ahead of me for plenty of opportunities that I hope to have one day for myself, like to start my own family or anything else like that. Because no matter what this tells you, no matter what it tries to show you or anything else, you guys are all stronger than that. I'm stronger than that. That stuff is in the past. That stuff doesn't matter now. You are who you choose to be. But there does come a time where you have to let it go. That there's nothing to investigate. You can't go back and fix. the past. You can't change the past. The past is past. But no matter how good or how bad it was at many different points, they are still existing to learn from, to be better from, to make yourself better with. That is why the past exists. And that's why it exists for me, to make myself a better person and to let go. Because for me personally at least, with the things that I've been through, I made peace with that stuff a long time ago in my own way. And I don't regret any of it. As painful as it is for both myself and others, it's not something I regret. And I never will. It's something that I accept as part of myself for what I've been through and what I deal with. And I recognize that none of that stuff matters anymore. There does come a point where you have to stop. Where you have to stop circling it over in your head like a projector on repeat. Where you have to make an active stance to change and stop. If you recognize what's really going on, you accept it for what it is, and you stop. Don't try and fix it. Don't try and explain it. It is what it is. Accept it for what it is, and stop. That's what you do. And I'm not saying it's that easy. It does take time. It takes dedication to it. It honestly does. But be proud of who you guys are and what you've accomplished. Don't give in to this negative voice that you may tell yourself that you're stuck with it, or you're a terrible person, or you deserve what you're getting, because you're not. That's a negative voice that you or what you've been through or somebody else put in your head and said, you're not worth it. You're not worthy. You're not a good person. You're not worth anything. All of that is a lie. It is all a lie. You are all amazing and fantastic people out there. And so am I. We all matter in this world. Not just to friends and family or what we decide to do with our lives or anyone else we meet. We all matter as people. I strongly believe that. Something I have to remind myself of sometimes, to be honest, that I matter. You don't deserve to suffer or go through terrible times. It sucks when you do have to go through them, but you learn from them. And as far as mental health goes, don't listen to that negative voice. Be who you want to be. Know the truth. And live and love yourself. Tell yourself that you matter. And make an active effort to change and just stop. Again, it's easier said than done, but once you actually just do it, you will be so much better off. And you can continue to learn and be better for the rest of your life. And that's the beautiful thing about it. Sorry, I know this turned into a little bit of a tangent. Not really so much a tangent. This was something that I wanted to talk about because it is something that has badly affected me this year on multiple scales. I'm not going to claim to 100% understand myself, but I'm understanding myself better. And as things come up, it makes me stronger as a person. And it continues to inspire me to stop and live that life that I want to do the things I want to do, and to be the amazing, proud person I am today, that both my loved ones and my friends see, and the man I'm proud to see in the mirror every day. I wanted to not only explain like that as a major reason why content's been lacking for me on the channel this year, but to do what I've done in the past with the YouTube videos and just talks in general about why I absolutely love talking about mental health to hopefully help and inspire people. So, sorry that part of the stream recording turned into a very long segment. For those of you who did watch that, thank you very much. I legitimately hope it helps every single one of you guys out there. In lighter news, in terms of that, I do have content that I do want to do here and there. I actually been playing Ocarina of Time, Legend of Zelda for the first time. It's actually been a good game. It's not a perfect one by any means. I know it's my first Legend of Zelda game, so for those of you guys out there who may watch this part of the stream that are Zelda experts or have played Ocarina of Time a million times already, more power to you if you really love and enjoy that stuff. For me, I did think the game was overall good, but I do have a few issues with the game personally. But my first Zelda experience playing what's considered to be one of the best games of all time, I generally think it is a good game. But I've been playing that, and I filmed some stuff for a review. So if I can get a good editing software going, hopefully I'll have that video up and you guys will be able to see not really so much a scripted or well thought out skit video on it like I would normally do, but just I mean, there is some skits in there and whatnot, but just to generally see like a vlog style review on my thoughts of Ocarina, like in general. So there's been that. I've also been up to quite a few projects lately as of late, guys. You guys will see in the Boss Studio back here just to give you guys an update because I think this video and stream in a lot of ways is long overdue for the channel. So what the heck, why not? Especially since it's been several months since I've last done a video. So let's do this. I have actually updated the room quite a bit. I wonder if I could take this off to show you guys here. I don't know that I don't want to mess the stream up. But for those of you guys who have followed the channel and whatnot, I am a huge Final Fantasy fan. It is Final Fantasy VII is my favorite video game of all time, and I only just played this series for the first time last year. So I have been wanting to assemble a massive collection of that, and I've been changing up my room and whatnot, which many of you guys from the channel will recognize because this is where most of these videos have actually been primarily filmed in over the years. For those of you old DaBoss viewers or fans, you'll know that most of these videos have been filmed in here. But I've been changing the room up here and there as well, and I'll kind of explain a bit of it to you guys. I've been wanting to do a massive like Final Fantasy collection personally, and I still have a bunch of retro video games that I intend to keep and play and all that too. But I've been assembling a video game merchandise collection, mostly consisting of Final Fantasy content. A lot of the stuff that I've gotten outside of some merchandise like figures and so a Play Arts Kai statue and just some assorted stuff here and there are displays for my room. I have some wall scrolls and whatnot. That there is from the original Final Fantasy VII. It's from a strategy guide. That there is a fan art piece somebody made from the sequel movie Advent Children, which I think is better than what some people say it is, but that's just me. That there, I mean, the Kingdom Hearts 2 poster has always been there. I do like the game, but it was already there. That over there is a framed portrait of some artwork done for Final Fantasy VI, which when I first played the game, I thought it was good, but I didn't really fully appreciate it as like one of my favorite games until after I played some other games in the series that I'm like, I mean, they're good, but not as good as 6, in my personal opinion. So eventually I ordered a poster off of Amazon. This was actually fairly recently, actually. But I bought the poster and I went and got it framed up at a frame shop a little bit away from my house. The guy there is very talented. He does some really good work. But he framed it up for me, and that's my first official framed poster that's displayed in my room. Everything else, aside of some like Walmart posters I bought years back that are up, are wall scroll stuff as far as like official collection pieces go. The other things that I have, which I wish I could show, actually, I'll try and do my best to show you guys here on stream as well. Here is a Chrono Trigger fan art display that I got also off of Amazon. This is a fan art because Chrono Trigger is my second favorite game of all time. Final Fantasy VII beats it up by a bit, but I have that as a display now too, which is actually really cool. I really love that. But it's a really good tin display that I very much love having here for the room as well. It adds a lot of aesthetic. And I do have one other Chrono Trigger display here, and that's this one right here. I got this one weeks back, actually. That one there is also really cool. The difference between the two is the first one I showed you is a fan art piece. The other one there is a actual promotional image of the game, because Chrono Trigger came out in 1995, and the man who did the artwork for the original Dragon Ball, can't remember his name right now. It was comprised of like 3 main developers known as the Dream Team who made the game. But the artist who did the work for the original Dragon Ball anime back in the 90s anyway, did the artwork for Chrono Trigger as well. So, and that secondary tin poster I just showed you guys was some of the actual promotional artwork someone took an image of and then put it on a tin poster. So it's really cool actually for a display. If any of you guys are interested who, again, see any of this, you can get all this off of Amazon. It works out incredibly brilliantly. If you're a fan of those games or you think they're cool, they're incredibly cheap. None of this stuff has been incredibly expensive as far as the displays go. But I'm a huge fan of all these games, and I've been changing the room up slowly here and there. And as time goes on, I plan to renovate this room even more. Um, Next year, I may be going to a different house, or not a different house, but moving into a different area from my house. Because this is my home. It always will be. I absolutely love my home, my family, and all that. But when I start going out my own and whatnot, I may be going to different housing that's extremely close to my house, regardless. So I'm basically in the same neighborhood anyway. So it doesn't really matter. But regardless, though, at this particular point, I'm still changing the room up and whatnot here and there. Regardless, a number of posters that you guys have seen from videos, I'm probably gonna end up taking down. I can see a number of them behind me here that are cool. I'll probably just give them away to somebody who actually wants them. I'm not gonna throw them away, but that'd be a waste. But I do want to make more room on the wall for more displays and whatnot too. Probably surrounding probably Chrono Trigger if I can, but Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy VI, maybe Final Fantasy X or something like that too if I decide to. Those are also my favorite games of all time. The thing with it is too, guys, is that there's not a ton of merchandise for a lot of these games out there. Final Fantasy VII has a ton of stuff in terms of actually being able to collect. It has from the original game, the remake in 2020, Advent Children, the sequel movie. It has the prequel game Crisis Core, which there's actually a remaster of that coming out here in a few days on modern consoles from the PSP game that came out in 2007. And but this remaster is coming out on all modern consoles. And there's also Dirge of Cerberus, which is the more controversial game in that compilation, and Square Enix games in general for Final Fantasy. So be very curious to kind of see what that one's like if I ever decide to review it. I've already played it, I already have my thoughts on it, but still. But there's not a ton of there's a ton of stuff to collect for Final Fantasy VII as I'm building this collection up. So there's that. There's a number of other things. Excuse myself here a second, guys. If you're watching this in the recording, just fast forward to when I'm next going. And if anyone pops in while I'm live, I'll be right back. Just one sec. All right, fam squad, I have returned once again. For those of you watching the video, none of that pause mattered to you whatsoever, but still very cool. But yeah, in general, guys, for building the collection and whatnot, and I know so we got this is basically going to be a massive update video of sorts, basically just talking with you guys at this point. Because I know I haven't done much on the channel and whatnot, so a lot of you guys who may end up watching this probably didn't even know I was live. So sorry. I don't know how StreamYard works with notifications on YouTube anyway. It doesn't matter. This whole thing's basically just a large vlog video of sorts with just a bunch of stuff. Again, I think long overdue at this point, but still, you know what I mean. But in terms of that goes, yes, there's a lot of stuff for Final Fantasy VII that I've been collecting for. And there's not much merchandise for Chrono Trigger or Final Fantasy VI at all. The games themselves are incredibly expensive for the original copies. I'm crazy enough to actually want to get them on the original Super Nintendo that they released on, because Final Fantasy VI came out in 1994, and Final Fantasy and Chrono Trigger came out in 1995. So they both came out a long time ago, and the games are incredibly expensive regardless, so there's not a ton of merchandise for them. Final Fantasy X has a good amount of stuff, but I'm not really focused on collecting for that one right now. But that's generally what I've been doing in terms of the room and whatnot for you guys. I do have plans for another poster over here, actually, that I ordered the other day, actually. So I'm looking forward to that one as well. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. But in general, though, guys, um, yeah, that's really about it as far as the room or collection goes. I mean, it's this year's definitely been an interesting one. Um, it's crazy to think that a lot of things this year have lasted this long because this month even is Christmas and my birthday actually as well. I'm turning 24, if you can believe it. I know I look probably a lot older. Some of you guys out there probably think I'm like in my 30s. I promise I'm not. 24. Relatively young still. I feel old in some regards, but I'm not ultimately. So don't be putting in the comment section of the video because I will be deleting all of you. Okay. But it's definitely been a crazy year. I'll say that as I kind of go toward the end of this whole rambly update, mental health discussion, collection, studio renovation, update, vlog type video. Just a year. I know the year's not done yet, but it basically is at this point. This year has definitely been a hard and stressful one, I would say, for me, all in all. But it's definitely been one of the more insightful years of my life thus far, in my about 24 years of experience. Um, this year has been rough in many ways. I would say that. But it's also been good at a few points as well. It's been rough in the sense of my program being incredibly intensive and this being for me, I never knew if I was ever going to have an actual future. I was never going to have a career. I was never going to be able to function out on my own. Or I was never going to have really any of the things that I have now today. And that's incredibly insane to me, even to this day. And it's as that stuff approaches more and more, because at this point, there's only several months out until I'm done with my program. And then I end up actually going to pursue a career on my own. So that's insane to me in that regard as well. But it's definitely been incredibly busy for that, which again has affected content and all that too. I mean, it's something that I hope to do more of with content as I'm shifting into it, especially now that I have a few months where I'm not doing a ton of stuff. So that's the whole reason why I'm doing this anyway, is to talk with you guys. And like this whole thing is basically just a long update. Like this is a very long overdue, I would say, update stream and what will eventually end up being a video. Zeno Brazilian, hey, what's going on, dude? Welcome to the stream. What up? Hey, not too much, dude. It's been a while. How are you doing, my man? It's this is a very long overdue stream. Um I don't think really a ton of people got notified about it, which is fair enough because I haven't uploaded a video in a while. This whole thing to catch you up has basically just been a long update on some things about myself, things what I've been doing in my personal life. Um, there was a section about talking about the importance of mental health at one point, some updates with the long studio that I've done videos in and whatnot over the years. Um, and a collection I'm building and whatnot. Like it's general, basically, it's like a life update slash channel update kind of thing, if that makes sense. Which 43 minutes, so yeah. But yeah, this is also one of the only real reliable ways that I can stream to you guys because YouTube, if you guys remember years back, took away being able to actually. I'm still here watching us. Welcome to Chickenlandia. Welcome, Chickenlandia. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for joining in today. I'm still here watching us. That's awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I recognize some, even you guys alone, I recognize some longtime viewers here from the past several years. That's awesome. Um, just to, I guess to catch you up to speed then too. This has basically just been a long update and whatnot here as well for myself, kind of reflecting on the year a bit for myself, talking about what I've been doing, some of the things that have been going on. It's you're right. You're right. I'm doing great. That's good. Nice to see you. Hey, nice to see you again too, man. Like I said, hoping to produce some good content for you guys up here too. Some more sketches. I already have a video, like I mentioned, I've already filmed on The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, which is basically a vlog with some sketches in it, essentially. For those of you guys who played that game, hopefully you don't completely murder me for my thoughts on it once I get the video actually done. I don't hate the game or anything. Brief spoiler for those of you here on stream for the video. I do think it's a good game all in all, but it's not perfect. It has a few things that I really didn't care for too much, but it was overall good. But that's the next video that I would actually end up doing here on the channel with you guys. And thankfully, I'm able to actually stream with StreamYard here. I did a collaboration years back with my friend Seafish, if you guys remember him from some videos I've done, or if you guys watched his StreamYard stream. He's the one who introduced me to StreamYard in the first place. So thankfully, I'm able to actually stream to you guys here on the channel because, again, YouTube took away the streaming feature years ago now, actually, unless you have over 1K subs and all that. So not a huge deal. But yeah, I'm able to actually stream to you guys with StreamYard now. So that's fantastic in itself. And I'm glad at least a few of you guys were able to catch the stream here and whatnot. But it has definitely been a rougher year in that regard, just being incredibly busy. And then obvious, like what I mentioned near the start of the stream, like everyone deals with mental health and whatnot and that kind of thing. And it's something that I've battled myself quite a bit, especially with being able to have the opportunities that I do. And there's a lot of layers and factors involved there, but the whole point of it is still proud to be here with you guys, still proud to be who I am. I love myself, and I love all you guys. That's why I'm doing this YouTube thing still, even after how many years? I mean, I started doing YouTube in 2015, and it's been probably 7, 8 years now. Well, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah, so 7 years. Even though the past few years it's still been a little lacking in terms of content, I'm still proud to be here for you guys. I feel like everyone's struggling. Yeah, I would agree with that one, Chickenlandia. Absolutely. There are so many people that I've spoken to even this year who are going through a lot, especially like post-pandemic and everyone just kind of getting readjusted into what is essentially a new world. And as life goes on and things change, people obviously change too. And I know I have in many ways. Again, like there's the reason why I am so for this at this point, because I am progressing to my future career as a teacher. And the YouTube thing is still something that I hope to keep part of my life, because this has been part of my life. Because I came home full time several years ago, and YouTube, that's when the channel really picked up in terms of quality. And then YouTube helped me grow as a person. It gave me another reason to do things every day and to make content. And it's been an amazing ride. And I hope it continues to be an amazing ride, because this train's not over until we reach the end of the line, which I stole that line from my favorite video game. Sorry, anyone who's a fan of Final Fantasy VII. Up top, though. But seriously, though, what a great career choice. Yeah, teaching's been something that I've pursued for a while. I've mentioned here on the channel quite a bit, but my specialty is in history. So I'm already halfway through a program at this point for that. Just another 5 months roughly until I'm done. So, but it's definitely been, it's been good, but it's been stressful. I always feel like with some people you can handle the everyday stresses of life, but when it comes to like the personal stuff they got to deal with up here, that's where it really gets rough. But to everyone who goes through times like that or has to deal with that as well, to any of you guys watching this or who will watch this on YouTube, if you're watching about 50 minutes into this thing, kudos to you. I would give you a cookie, but I have none on me because I ate them all. Sorry, but you have my sincerest condolences. But no, I would say keep your heads strong about you. Be true and believe in yourselves. Don't listen to anybody else. Leave the past where it belongs in the past, because that stuff doesn't matter now. It helps grow you as to who you are as a person. And if you learn from those experiences and you're true to who you are and you let go of that stuff, then you'll be better off. You'll have the life that you want. Don't try and figure it out or anything else, because you'll just end up spiraling into it. Believe me, I've done that. So I'm saying the same thing basically I've said, just in a different way, for like other videos I've made in the past, like years ago now, on mental health, because I'm a huge advocate for it. But it's a major emphasis because everyone deals with it. So be true to who you guys are as people. And thank you very much, Chicken Lady. I appreciate that. There's many years of experience coming out here, so a little bit here and there, but I appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, that's basically all I really had for this stream. Yeah, I say that's all I really had for this stream. It's like 50 minutes. But this is basically just an update. Hope you guys look forward to content I come out with here on the channel. at some point here in the future. Thank you to everybody who's stuck around. Hopefully, we have a revamp of DaBoss here in that regard. So I think that'll be quite a bit of fun as well. So I might try and actually do a different video for you guys that I might try and do this evening, maybe. So if you see that video go up and you were here on the stream, you have the right to comment first on that video. So keep that in mind to either you, Chickenlandia, or Zeno. Feel free. So you guys have exclusive rights to that. But either way, thank you guys so much for joining me on the stream. This has honestly been really cool, actually, to do again. It's been such a long time since I've properly streamed here on the channel at all, and I'm glad I still have the ability to do so with StreamYard. So thank you guys for still supporting the channel. You guys are absolutely amazing people. Yay. You guys are absolutely amazing. Every single one of you guys who have been viewers here on the channel for years, in many cases, I appreciate every single one of you guys. We've built a fantastic community here, and I hope to continue not only to flourish that community, but to continue it at least in some regard in the future. So thank you guys all so much for your support. You guys are all amazing, and you guys definitely help me, both in my personal life and just in general. So thank you guys all very much. We'll see you guys here in the future with content and whatnot, and hope to see you guys around. But either way, for those of you guys who stuck around and stream, thank you. For those of you guys watching on YouTube, and if you watch the whole time, comment if you get to this point. What is it that YouTubers do to ensure people watch that far into a video or stream? They say to leave a comment. If you've watched this far into the stream, comment your favorite fruit or something. That way I know. You don't actually have to do it. That trend's so dumb. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you very much. Love every single one of you guys out there in the Boss fandom or community. Thank you guys so much. And I'll see you guys here in the future. Peace out, everybody. DaBoss out. And thank you guys for stopping by the stream today. Chickenlandia and Zeno, thank you very much. I'll see you guys later. Peace. My favorite fruit is okay, I like that. Good answer. Thank you for your fruit submission, Chickenlandia. I appreciate it. All right. Peace out, guys. I'll see you later. Have a good evening, by the way, too.